I'm your host, Rosemary DiTrolio, and you've been watching and listening to The Lightwalker's Path. Learn about my workshops, sessions, courses, and more at info@rosemaryd.com. Good morning. I'm Rosemary. I'm the host of The Lightwalker's Path, Grow Your Spirit with Rosemary. Join me every Tuesday at 10 Eastern to develop your soul's purpose and get some lightning in conversation. The Lightwalker's Path is a place you can find on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many streaming platforms. You can also text from Facebook or YouTube. My wonderful guest today is Sandra Murphy, owner of Classic Design in Delaware. For 2 decades, she's been helping people have beautiful homes and create timeless and fresh interiors. She has many happy clients, and Sandy is also my sister. Welcome, Sandra Murphy. Excuse me. Hi, Sandy.
Hi, so
I
glad
have
to
a
be
frog.
here.
I have a frog in my throat, so I'm sorry about that. You
That's
look great, by
perfectly
the
fine.
way, and I love your beautiful background in your office. It's a
Thank
lovely
you.
environment. So
Makes me
today's podcast is all about creating calm and happy homes. And I know that
Mhm.
you're an expert with this. And I always like to kid because I say that my idea of decorating is to put out the good paper plates, and yours is this lovely home design with elegance and serenity. So I want to welcome you to the show and
Thank you.
ask you what your best advice for your clients is. And I know it's all about clutter.
I'll let you know. Well,
Yeah.
I've been in many homes over the years, and I find that the homes where people are not really centered and calm, it's because that filters all over into their home. And when I walk in the home and I look around, there's just things everywhere. And I sometimes think, a cluttered house is also a cluttered mind. And so
Mm,
I try to make the home peaceful for them because when the home it has less things in it and the colors are light, you walk in, you're like, I'm home. But
mm.
conversely, if there's laundry in a basket and the kids' toys or things thrown around, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm coming home and now I have to deal with this mess. So,
Absolutely. You've been proud of me yesterday. I went through my closets in my bedroom and I organized our stuff for the trip and I got rid of tons of stuff for a garage sale. So I
perfect.
felt so good after. So I know that it creates this sense of peace when you have less stuff and you're more organized. Um,
Definitely.
Yeah, so I know that you've always had this sense about you of elegance. Like I always remember growing up how you would like decorate the packages before you gave them to grandma, or you would be like doing my hair and my makeup for me when I was a little girl, saying, "Okay, let's play with your hair right now." Or you'd be creating like these beautiful outfits to wear. And I know that it extended into what you do for your clients as well. So I want you to speak on what inspired you actually to want to get into home design.
I think it's because growing up, mom was always, she always had a pretty home. She did things that other people in the neighborhood didn't. Beautiful draperies, a mix of antiques and new furniture. And it was elegant. It was simple. The house was always clean and neat. And I guess I got that from her. And I was always visual. I like pretty things. Even as a kid, I'd be wearing the little shiny shoes and the pretty little dresses, and that was all. It was always me. I'm not a tree climber like someone I know, and like that. Yeah, exactly. So, just a different thing. I just went down that path, and I'm always happy with it. So I think that's what started me on the path to design because I'm visual. I love pretty things, whether it's a landscape, an architectural, beautiful home, or things in a home that speak to me. It's just things I
Mhm.
notice. So,
I love what you did in that guest room that you had. That was a fabulous rework. And I would have never thought that could be done. Like the way you used your space and how you designed what you did. So I want you to speak on that room and what you converted because that was really awesome.
well, it's about seeing possibility. When I said to my husband, this is a storage room where you have out of season clothes and you have Christmas decorations and things to wrap gifts. I mean, if I wish I had shown you a picture of that on here, but there were racks for clothing. There were, cabinets that had things on the shelving. It was just a lot of things. And I said to my husband, "Oh, I'm going to make this a combination storage room that you really won't notice the storage and a guest room." And he's like, "Oh, how are you going to do that?" So I
Right?
began moving things around, getting rid of things, organizing and pulling it together. And then I had a rack of it's wrapping paper. So the wrapping paper are on dowels, and they say it's 4 feet tall. And on each dowel, there's one roll of wrapping paper. Well, I put the wrapping paper in a way that it looks coordinated and pretty. It became art almost. So that was on one wall. I put the bed next to the middle, and then to the left, I balanced the left side with inexpensive lanterns, like Chinese lanterns in different colors, and made a mobile out of it. The idea being I'm balancing the color on the left with the color wrapping paper on the right. And the funny
Hmm.
thing is, people who have seen this, that just yesterday I was in a pool with some neighbors, and one woman saying, "Oh, you should see that room." She goes, "I just love the wrapping paper art." And it's
Oh,
just,
that is too funny. I
what
was
do
so
you get?
impressed. I mean, when I walked in that room, I'm like, oh, I remember I was in such awe with the change in that room and that it looked like a beautiful guest room, and you actually claimed back space that would have been just for storage. So that
Exactly.
was amazing how you did that. So I
Yeah,
know for your clients, you do the same thing. You
right.
have them claim back lost space in their home. So I want you to speak on how you, like, when a client comes to you, how do you, like, do you eyeball their space and say this could be this, or how do you do that for a client?
Well, first, I give them sort of an interview. I have a booklet of What's Your Style that I've created, and it shows pictures of room settings and colors and floor plans and different things. And as I'm showing them things, I'm getting their feedback to see what resonates with them. Then we talk about the room or rooms that they would like some help in. And, you see this room, what would you like it to be? And sometimes say, well, I need a home office, but I'm using this right now. I don't have a home office. So I look around the house and there's a perfectly good room that's almost used like an oversized closet or junk room. And I'm like, we can do better. And so it's a
Mhm.
process of, again, seeing the space in a different way and saying, let's change up some of what's here. Maybe you can donate things, get rid of it, whatever, to clear the room and let's start fresh. And I've done
I
that
love
many times, and people are surprised they have the space in
that.
their home. So,
Yeah, I am always amazed when I look at your before and after on your website and how you can kind of edit stuff out of a room that doesn't belong and then just move around even stuff that a client owns. I know that you do, you do that with people to help them declutter, and you also shop for people, which
oh,
is
yeah,
I know you're like a love to shop.
I do.
So not me, but I know you do. So tell me about that process of shopping for a client.
Well, I can shop for them or with them. I had a male client several years ago, and he was going to shop with me. I said, okay, we'll shop for the day. Well, to me, the day meant between 6 and 8 hours. For him,
Oh
it might have been
God.
like an hour and a half.
Yeah,
So
right,
we stopped,
exactly.
he hung in there with me. His eyes were getting bigger saucers as we're moving along the day, but we did get a lot accomplished, and we did have fun doing it. And he saw that we got exactly what he needed for the room, so it worked out. But it was just a shock. And I'm thinking his mind, like, oh, she shops that long.
I'm sure. Oh, I've always been shocked by how long you could shop.
My mother-in-law
That's
once
great.
gave me a T-shirt that said "Shop till you drop." That really
Yeah.
is me.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. It's absolutely true. I also love the idea that you can totally nail down someone's style that is completely different from yours because that's your superpower. Like you can even shop like for stuff that would appeal to me, which might be very different than what might appeal to you or someone else. And that's also a really great artistic skill that you have, that you can find just the right thing. Like talk about that big marlin. Remember the big marlin?
Yes, for sure. Um, I had met some clients. They have a second home here in Delaware. They had a large vaulted ceiling in their family room, and on that wall they had below it was a cream colored sectional. It was beautiful, but the wall was blank. So first I had to add color to the whole room, which was a light, pretty blue. And then I said, I want something on the wall. I want something big. I like fish. I said, so do you want a big fish? He goes, yeah. So I went shopping, and don't you think I find this 8-foot marlin or something that was, I don't know, fiberglass. I'm not sure what it was. And I said, I found you your fish. So
That's
I went
awesome.
up to the store. He looked at it. Yep, that was it. So it worked.
I always say you could find the most obscure,
So I,
oddball item, and you have a shopping angel because there's no way you've been able to find all this weird and wacky stuff that, like the window of a certain size, or an oddball fan that fits perfectly in a spot in your home that you could find and no one else can. So,
yeah.
that's really your superpower.
But I don't know what that's about, but you're absolutely right. I go out in my mind, I'm going to look for this, this, and this, and darned if I don't find it in, like you say, in the oddest places, and I found exactly what I want. But I've been
Yes.
shopping for people where they might have gone to the local stores and they've shopped for things and they bring it all home and I get it there and they go, oh, that's not right. And they have to go bring it all back. So then they
Hmm.
hire me. I may go to the same stores and bring back a van full of things. When they get to their home, they love it all. And they go, where'd you get all this? I said, well, I went to the store you went to. And they're looking at me like, well, how did you find this stuff? It's a different
Yeah.
eye. The thing that, I just know what to look for, I guess. And that's makes the difference.
Absolutely. I know that oftentimes, like a person may want to get involved, and like you have this beautiful plan in mind. They're like, oh no, I want to buy this. And then they mess up your whole plan because something doesn't fit, like that gigantic couch that you have on your website that someone bought. So,
Oh my God.
yes.
Yeah. Um, One time, many years ago, I met a couple, and the man was very dominant, and the woman was very, not insecure, but quiet, let's say. And he thought he was saving money. So he goes to some furniture store, and in the back of his truck, he buys this clearance, dark, 90-inch long leather sofa. And he puts it in the truck and he brings it home
Oh,
only to surprise his wife. And he brings it in, he thinks it's going to go in their living room. Well, first, it was way too big. Second, it was way too dark. And third, she absolutely hated it.
I'm sure.
So
Yeah.
then they hired me, and I said to him, look, I'm going to get you good value. I'm going to find you things, but let me first do a floor plan and pull some things together, and we'll do the room. I said, but don't go out and buy anything else. So he listened, and I took him to a local store that was not low end, it was probably mid range to higher. I walked him through the entire store, showed him what I had selected for his room, and he said to me, I'll take everything. He hadn't even looked at the prices. And I was
Yeah.
kind of shocked that he did. He bought every single thing I recommended. And then
You,
after that, if there was another room that needed a lamp, he'd call me. He said, Sandy, there's a 30-inch high lamp I'm looking at. Do you think I should buy it? So we got to
good,
that point.
good. That's
Good.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say mama ain't happy, nobody's happy. So he probably was so appalled that his wife didn't like that horrible couch that he's like, I'll do what you want, you know?
Oh my God. I'm happy. It's probably in his basement. I don't even know.
Oh man. Okay. So we're coming up on a sponsor break. It looks like we're about a minute out right now. So I just want you to talk about this when we come back. Something like the your ideal client would be the next thing I want to ask you after the break. Who would be your ideal client? So we have a sponsor break on the Lightwalkers Path coming up. Stay with us. We'll be back in about a minute. Okay. Hi, Sandy. Welcome back. This is the Lightwalkers Path. My guest is Sandra Murphy, IDS, Classic Design in Delaware, my sister and beloved person. So
Okay.
we were talking about first thing your favorite client or the one that's easy to work with, and we can talk about color. And we also had a comment from Gina. What can you use for storage but still add elegance to a room? So we're going to hit those ideas. How about let's do Gina's comment first, and then we'll go into ideal clients. Okay. So
Well, go ahead. So for storage, it depends on, what room. Is there room for a full height storage item that, because when you use vertical space, you're not using a lot of floor space, so it doesn't crowd a room. So if there is a full plain wall with no window in the way, it's good to add storage of maybe 7 6 7 feet high. And then if it's open storage and you want to hide things, you need to put pretty baskets on the shelving and label the baskets, or buy a bookcase that has the bottom half with doors on it so that it's closed and people can't see into it. I actually did that in my own home office, and I love it because I have a combination of open and closed storage.
Yeah,
So,
we did that too. That's a great idea. I used the open. I used to have a TV stand, and Stanley closed it up so that the bottom of it, it closes up and it has shelving. So I put
right,
all the books that I had before visually
yeah,
closed up in there. So that really works for us too. That's a good
yeah,
idea.
perfect. Another thing I did, you were talking about that room that upstairs that I have. I did have still have a bookcase that had um, not wrapping paper, but bags that are gift bags
Yeah.
and I don't know, other things on there. So when people looked at it, to me, even though it was neat, there was just a lot of things to look at. So I bought a bamboo roll-up shade, attached it to the
Oh,
top of the bookcase, and it's just white and it rolls down to the floor. So when people are looking at that, they're not seeing anything but a white shade.
that's a
So it's
great idea. That's a
yeah.
great idea. Yeah. Okay. All right. Ideal client. So your ideal client and ones that take a little more work.
Okay. An ideal client to me is someone who understands they're hiring me for my professionalism and my ideas. That doesn't mean I'm ignoring their ideas because I find out what they like. Because the room is all about them. And when I walk out of that room and I'm done decorating it, I want to know they love the room and they're happy. So,
Okay.
ones that know my value, understand what I'm doing, and let me do my job for them. So, for instance, if they hire me to do a room, I want them to give me ownership of that room in a way. So I start a plan with them. I've listened to how they use the room lifestyle wise. Then I create the plan and I start looking for the furniture. Now, if they let me finish it and then show them the options of the things, that's great. If they're the type of client who here's what I'm doing, but then decide to go shopping and then tell me about it later, that throws like a monkey wrench into the whole plan because I'm going down one path and they're going down another. Go, I just found this great thing. It looked fabulous in the room. Well, maybe, but it may not go to all the other elements in my puzzle pieces to put their room together. So I asked
Got
them,
it.
please let me do my job.
Right. So I know that your service is different maybe than others because you are actually creating the plan and they're hiring you for your planning expertise, your shopping opinions, and your puzzle piece of the plan rather
Right.
than just buying a bunch of stuff. Like you are actually like guiding the client and setting it up in your way, right? Is that kind of how I'd
Yes.
explain your
Yes.
service?
So I'll if they're hiring me to do the room, then I start with a measurement of the room, a floor plan, and I show them a three-dimensional view of that room on my laptop. So they get a
Okay.
sense of here's the room, here's the walls and windows, here's how it could look. Then they get excited because they see the layout. And then
Yes.
from there, when I shop, I either shop alone and find them options. But when it's upholstery, after I found the options, I want them to sit on it. That's really important. So
Right.
I'm not going into a store and having them run, different directions. Oh, I want this, I want that. No, I've already selected a few things as
I got
options that go with the plan. So I keep them on track and they're just going to look at those things and we go from there. It makes
I
it
love that.
simple for me. Yeah.
Yes. I know that sometimes, you've mentioned that some clients you'll have everything like perfectly planned and then last minute they'll come in with 12 different things that they want to switch. I'm sure that's a demon when you work with a client. So how do you stop that from occurring and has it occurred for you in the past?
Not really to that extent, no. As I say, everyone has nice taste, and maybe they feel like they want to make sure their taste is included, and that's why I do the plan initially and get to know them because I want to know their taste. I want to know what they like. Now, if they have a beautiful artwork that they want to incorporate, or some antiques or heirlooms or something, I make sure that is in the room for them because it's meaningful to them. So I
That's
mix it in with whatever else we're doing.
I love that. That's great. Okay, I know that color affects mood, and I know
Mhm.
this myself because I feel more serene in natural environments. So,
Right.
how do you employ color to help your client be the most peaceful in their spaces?
Usually, lighter value of any color is going to feel more serene because it's not dominant in the room. It's just a backdrop, kind of like the photo behind me where you see clouds and you see
Hmm.
just lighter colors. It just feels like, oh, that's so nice. It's so light.
Hmm.
Conversely, usually red and orange, and any strong color is dominant, and it's more powerful, but it's also wearing on people. So those kind of colors might be better in an entryway where you're walking through, in a powder room where you're not in there that long, and the
Okay.
peaceful colors are in major areas where you're going to spend a lot of time.
What color would you suggest for, let's say, a kitchen area where people are mainly eating, or a dining area? What color would be like a comfortable color for those kind of environments?
Well, a couple of things. One, depending on how much light they receive in the room. For instance, a room that doesn't get a lot of sunlight might feel gloomy, so you want to keep the walls light. It could be a light neutral, a gray, a cream, an off-white. Could be a color that's light. It just depends on that. A lot of people, as you can see in magazines and on the internet, are using a lot of white and neutrals and that kind of look. It's been out there a while with a lot of gray. Gray is changing now to color again, but people transition slowly. It doesn't mean that because it's changed, you have to go into a lot of color. It's what you like.
Yeah, I remember the 70s when they had that horrible avocado and harvest
Yeah,
gold and those
yeah,
huge flowers and everything. Oh my goodness. You look at it now, I'm like, oh, that's horrible. I know that
yeah,
trends
yeah,
change. So you
they
say
do.
the trend was gray for a while, gray and black and muted colors. Is there a trend happening now as far as color goes?
There's always something different. I think Sherwin-Williams has a new color this year. I think last year it might have been a fuchsia. They change it slightly, but again, that's their version of color of the year. That doesn't mean you're going to jump on the bandwagon and change your colors. People don't generally, but I do suggest if you're doing major pieces in a family room, keep those pieces neutral and put your color in doses like pillows, a throw on the sofa, artwork, things that are small, because the overall feeling will still feel airy and peaceful with large pieces in a light neutral. When you
Okay.
use a black or dark leather, it dominates a room and it feels
Yeah.
heavy.
Yeah.
So you have to look at
Yeah.
that too.
I've noticed that too. Like a lot of the masculine look in furniture and offices and things, they'll tend to have like these powerful dark pieces with big leather, and almost picture them smoking cigars on the couch or something, right? So I
Yeah.
know that you did a lovely office space for a man. I think you were talking about it a while ago, that you did this office space for a man, and he was very happy with it. And you had some other brighter colors in there, and I was very surprised. And also, I love what you did in your husband's office with the blues and the greens. So,
Right.
speak on how you were able to work with a male client, because I know that you have.
Well, my male client is a lawyer, and most offices are pretty neutral, pretty beige, and not that interesting because the furniture is usually office furniture. It's not pretty.
Right.
So in this office, I wanted to make the room feel good. So when a client walked in, they would see him sitting at his desk, and directly behind his desk, I put a beautiful blue wall, like a medium blue, and then I found an artwork of a sailboat, and that went on his wall.
Uh, yes.
Also has a lot of files, and I
Hmm.
put in lateral files for him to file those things in his drawer. Well, when I was
Hmm.
all done with the room, I finished adding custom simple window treatment and a few accessory items. I came in later on, and there were all his files sitting on top of the lateral file. And
Uh,
why didn't it go in? And he likes to see all his stuff, and I
I
couldn't
get.
change his habit, but it would have looked 10 times better had he just tucked the things in the drawer, which was what that lateral file was for.
I
But
really get it, because I tend to do that myself, and I have to remind myself not to do that. But for me, sometimes if it's tucked away, I forget I have it. So to
yeah,
me, my next thing is I'm going to get rid of a lot of my papers. That it's kind of like a comfort. You don't want to get rid of your stuff.
yes,
So especially
get
with
it.
me, papers. So what are some ideas for decluttering paperwork? Because I know that's my demon. It's always been.
That is very challenging because you think I might need this, I might need that, and you're holding on to it. Um, Almost get somebody else to work with you on that. Sometimes they can say, right, Ro, how valuable is this to you? And then they may help you move along in the process. It's like
Right.
when I help people declutter a room, people who like a lot of stuff don't want to get rid of anything. So they
Right.
hire me to do it, and yet they're afraid to get rid of, a piece of paper. So
Yes.
several boxes I use. It's like kind of like keep sell, donate. I never say throw it out because they won't want to do that.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but when we start picking up an item and putting it into one of those three boxes, they start seeing things are coming out of the room, they're going in the box, and the things you're going to donate, I try to get out to their car or vehicle right away so they're not deciding, oh, let's put it back.
Dig
So
through
what
the trash.
happens is,
Yeah.
as they're working with me on this process, they get into it. They're like, oh, they can see it's starting to look good in this room. Now they're excited. Now they work long, we finish their job, and they're like, oh, this really looks good. But you
That's
have
a
to
good
get them to
suggestion.
that point. That's not how they think. They're not maybe logical or organized in their thinking, and so they need somebody else to get them on that path.
Yeah, that's a very good suggestion because I know that I did that the other day. I was going through my cabinets and I'm like, I have those containers up there I used to use for Thanksgiving. I haven't used it in 2 years or 3 years. Why do I have it? So
Right.
it's going in the pile to sell because whatever I don't sell at the garage sale, I'm going to donate. So
There
that's
you go.
my thing. Clothing that I'm never going to fit into. These things that I thought I would use that I don't. So that's my next thing. Okay. Um, all right. If you, in a perfect world, what would you want your clients to know about you? And we're going to come back to that because we're coming on another break in like a minute. So I want you to think of what you'd want your client to know about you or your business. All right. We're coming right back in about a minute or two. This is the Lightwalker's Path, and we'll be back with Sandra Murphy, my guest, after the break. Welcome back. This is the Lightwalker's Path, Grow Your Spirit with Rosemary. And my sister, a talented interior designer, Sandra Murphy, classic design from Delaware. So before the break, I had asked, what would you like people to know about you, either personally or about your business that you'd like to share?
I find that I'm very easy to work with. I have fun with people. I like people. I look to their good. And oftentimes when people think interior designer, they think someone with their nose in the air that's going to come in the room and say, "Oh, get rid of everything. This is just not right." I've never been like that, nor would I ever, because that's not what you should do with people. You're in there to help them. They're hiring you. Be happy that they've hired you and make them happy with what you're going to do for them. I mean,
Yes,
that's the goal.
yes, yes, I agree. Um, All right. I know you have levels of service or different opportunities for people to work with you based on their budget and what they might need. So, first thing, I know that you can also work in person or virtually, and you work on FaceTime if they're not in your environment. Is that true? Like if they're not near you?
Right. I do that. So I start with a design consultation for about 2 hours in the home because I want to do that book, What's Your Style, to get to know them and their personality. I want to see the space, if again, if it's local, and see what I'm working with so I know how to help them. And then I measure the room if I'm going to be taking the next step with them. But initially, it's ideas and advice at a design consultation. I
Okay.
charge $450 for that service, and they could take the information and do what they will with it, or they can say, "No, Sandy, I need more information, more services from you. What other services do you provide?" So once they've met me and feel comfortable with me and know I know what I'm doing, I share this. I don't know if you can see it. Let me see this way. Can you see anything here?
I just see it. Yes, I see it.
Okay.
Recommendation,
Quickly
shopping.
the level of services, and each one will describe what the service is and what the price point. And those are priced per room services. And it really just goes by how much time I'm investing with them for each category. If they
Okay.
want to have a little help or a little more help, or they want me to do it all and then present options, those are different price points.
Okay, I have a
And
question. So
so
let me just stop you for a second. So, all right, if they're not in your area, then do they send you measurements and then you FaceTime with them for that consultation? Is that what
yes,
you do if they're not near you?
done that. And I'll tell you, one time a woman was taking her phone and she's zooming through the room like, wait, 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 because I have to see it and make sense of it. And when I saw this one wall in her room, I said, make sure you measure that and tell me what it is. She was about to do something that would have been very wrong in the room had she not show me that wall again and had me measure it. And I realized, oh, no, what you were going to do is not going to work for you. So, yes, I do it that way because they do need the help, and I help them the best I can. The last thing I want to mention about my design services is I don't sell them furniture. That's something we did for years, where a designer would make a markup on the furniture. I don't.
Okay.
Instead, I'm charging strictly for the services I'm providing. And the only other thing I will sell them is custom draperies, because those I can't just walk into the store and get what I've just recommended, because I've specified the fabric and the design of the pieces and the rods and whatever to hang it. So,
Okay. Okay. So you work with a person that does the curtain part, and then they work through you, right?
right.
Is that
Yeah,
okay?
I have people that sew the draperies, but I tell them, how wide, how high, what we're doing, and then they go ahead and sew for us.
Okay. All right. So you have levels of service. So I know
Mhm.
this is listed on your website. Can you tell us your website just so people can hear it?
Sure. It's classicdesignnet.com.
Okay. Okay, cool. And do you have anything where, like, do you have an email address where they can reach you if they have a question for you after
Sure.
this show or whenever?
Sandra at classicdesignnet.com.
Wonderful. Okay. So, all right. I was going to ask you if there is anything else about design or that a common problem you see in most people's homes. I know you said clutter is the first one. Is there any other like go-to that you would say most people that you've worked with need help with this?
Yes. I've put together a presentation to a group here where I live, and it talks about all the things I've seen in my years of experience in and out of people's homes, things that they're not aware are could be better. And
Mm,
it's like you don't know what you don't know. You think you've done it right, and somebody else who's in the business goes, "Oh no, that we could do better than that." So things
yeah.
like scale and proportion are what designers look at when you're doing a room, and people aren't looking that way. They're going, "I'm buying a 7 foot sofa." Well, if the sofa is too high, too puffy, too dark, it's like the elephant in the room. It dominates.
Mm,
So had
yeah.
they chosen something else that's lighter in color, that's not so puffy, whatever, it would look much better. So size of pieces, in proportion, how bulky they look.
Okay.
Lamps, too tall, too short, too skimpy.
Hmm.
Artwork hung in the wrong spot, too high, too low, too little. I see
Right.
these all the
Right.
time.
Okay. I got it. All
You.
right. Okay. All right. I want to hear about unusual talents that you have. I know a lot of it's related to your design work, but what other things would people be surprised to know about you that you can do or that you're really good at?
Oh my gosh. I don't know what that is anymore, Ro.
Ah,
Back in the day, back in the day, I used to design cakes, as you may remember.
yes,
You
I
take
do.
a cake, you bake a basic cake, you cut it up and you make an animal out of it, and then you decorate it. Or when people were doing these doll cakes, I was all about that. I'd put
Oh,
a real doll
yeah,
in the cake, and the rest of the cake is her dress, that kind of thing.
that's
Um,
right.
I used to take tissue paper. In fact, I did it recently, where you take tissue paper of different colors and you make flowers. I
Oh,
remember
yeah,
spraying it with lacquer to make them last forever. And I
that's
actually decoupaged one of mom's very expensive bowls that I didn't know was expensive, and I decoupaged the whole thing and then stuck my flowers in it. And luckily, she was didn't kill me, but I mean, it was not something she would want me to have done. But the flowers are back again, and things
right.
recycle back every 25 to 30 years, whether it's
It's
an
fun.
idea that people figure it's new now, or whether it's furniture or style, like you were talking about the 70s look. Wall covering,
Yes,
strong
yes.
color cabinetry is back. It all returns.
Macrame, Sandy. I was at a thing with
Yes.
Stan. They're doing macrame as if it's
Oh, I
something
know.
brand new. I'm like, oh my God, everybody macrameed everything back in the day, you know?
That's
And
right.
that's coming back. And the boho. The other thing I wish they'd get rid of is the tie dye. I'm like, I think it's had its day. I don't want to see any more tie dye clothing. You know,
Well,
let it go. Let it
they
rest.
say if you've used it once,
There
don't
you
come back
go.
and do it again. Like it's our
No.
generation did it the first time. Well, let the other people that are now
Yes,
millennials, they could do it. For them, it's all
that's
brand
right.
new.
It looks weird. It looks like it's been in our closet for 40 years when we
There
wear
you
it, you
go.
know? It's like, oh, yes, I remember that.
Oh, and things like bell bottoms are back, which is kind of
Bell
funny.
bottom.
You want the pants again are getting wider. It's like it
Yes,
all
they're
comes back.
getting
It's
wider. They're
really
getting
nice.
wider. I remember you taking a frying pan and cooking marbles and making the
Marble,
cracked marble jewelry and
that was
earrings that you were selling and the ones with the little I don't know, the sparkles or something in them that you did
That,
years
yeah.
ago.
I
Yeah,
don't know where I got that idea. I must have seen it somewhere, but that was fun to do. And the marbles looked really cool when they're crackled
they
inside.
did. They really did. You have another thing you could do with it these days. Okay. Um, all right. I know that you were really quiet as a child. Do you consider yourself an introvert or an extrovert now? And I know what I consider you, but how do you consider you?
Yeah, I was saving it all up for when I became an adult, and then I just let it all come out. So now I'm definitely an
Yes.
extrovert.
I think I'm between both. Like as an adult, I'm more extroverted. As a child, I was really, really quiet, as
Yeah,
you know.
that's right.
So again, it's very similar to you. We kind of come into our own at a certain time and then
Right.
we just
So
let it
fun.
roar.
So true.
Okay. What kind of people do you resonate with the easiest or the best? What personalities are easiest for you?
That's a very good question. I'll say I know the ones that aren't easy, or the people who are kind of maybe like me, very analytical. Like a lot of times, I'll have this man that keeps interjecting what he likes, or he's looking at something in the room, and I finally say to him, "Are you an engineer?" Because engineers are very
They're
methodical in their
very
thinking,
methodical.
and
Yes.
they don't usually get involved in the design process much as maybe their wife or spouse or significant other would. It's just a
Yes.
different thing. As far as who I resonate with, I don't know. I like smiling, happy people. I like people that are easygoing. Again, I like people who value why they hired me and understand that they're hiring me because they're not sure what to do and they're going to let me do my job, which is
Right.
thrilling for me.
There you go. There you
Yeah.
go. I know that you're really involved in your social committee in the place that you live.
Mhm.
So, with your social committee, what kinds of things do you do there that you enjoy?
Yes, I'm helping to plan parties and things for people. And
Mhm.
that's always good because we have a whole community that can join things in the day, like a book club or a knitting club, or for the men, a men's breakfast, things like that. And then in the evening, we have evening activities like Meet the Neighbor, or trivia, or bingo, or that they have a speaker come in, a guest speaker who's talking about wine or balsamic vinegar, or books. It could be anything. And
That's
so people look forward to that.
Yeah, that would be a fun speaker event for your place would be you could talk about design, you can have the wine person talk about wine pairings
Mhm,
for an
mhm.
evening, you could have somebody else do, but all related to like entertaining in the home. That would be
Right.
kind of a really cool thing if you get a couple people together that do different things to
Yes,
present.
that would be
Yeah.
very.
Yeah, I know you have a lot of little segments on Facebook right now, which are really interesting, and I look forward to seeing those. So people can find those Facebook lives that you do, right? Or are they
Mhm.
saved, or are they just live when they're live? Do you know?
I think they're still on. If you look, they're still on Facebook, and I also been putting them on my website.
Okay, good, good.
There's,
That's great.
not as many on the website. I'm now working to get more on there, but I have them in both places. I see people always respond and comment to them. So
Good.
it's little, tips and things that I want to share with people.
That's
Sometimes there's a
great.
before and after, which is very valuable. People need to see where a room began and what the transformation was, and they get it when they see it. They
That's good.
understand it.
After this airs, I can send you the link and you can put this on your
Mhm.
website if you'd like, or you could send
Good.
it to your clients because that's another thing that will help get your business out there. How
Perfect.
many years have you been in business with Classic Design?
Oh,
Do you know?
over 20. Yeah,
Over
I was at
20, right?
24 actually.
Yeah, right. Okay. Um, okay. What practices help you stay centered when you're feeling out of sorts? And we're going to come back to that after the break because we've got one break coming up in about a minute. So I want you
Okay.
to ask what you do to keep yourself calm when you need to keep yourself calm for a client or for life. Okay, we'll be right back. Lightwalker's Path, Grow Your Spirit with Rosemary. Welcome back. This is Rosemary, the Lightwalker's Path, Grow Your Spirit with Rosemary. My guest, Sandra Murphy from Classic Design in Delaware. And my question before we took a break was what practices do you follow that keep you centered, grounded, or in a serene state, either in life or when you work with a client? What things help you?
I don't meditate or anything like that. If I was, let's say, stressed out at the end of a workday, which is not that often I get like that, but years ago working for other people, there were times when I did, and I would go walk the beach. And when I
Mm,
came back, and I was like, okay, I'm refreshed, I'm good, I'm relaxed.
Hmm.
Nowadays, I guess I don't get as nutsy about things and get stressed out. I don't. But yeah, that's what I used to do with clients. If I feel there's something that is niggling at them, and I try to, ask them what it is, how can I help? Because I don't want anyone to feel unhappy or hold back with a. Sometimes they smile at your face, but they're unhappy with something. You don't know until they speak up, or if you sense it in their body language, you may then talk to them about it. You never want anyone to feel that way. You want them to be happy, and you want the process to be good for them.
Okay, good. What do you do for fun?
I go to the pool a lot. I go to the beach once in a while. I do travel. And as you know, we're traveling in April, you and I and our spouses. Yay!
Mhm.
And go to restaurants, have family time. I've had a lot of company the last couple of months, which has been absolutely delightful. Love having family visit, love entertaining. So yeah, those are the kinds of things I do. Yeah.
I want to mention your really cool room that you have upstairs. So my sister has a house, and the second floor is like a separate little apartment. So when my husband and I go visit, there's a separate bed, there's a bathroom. She has the coffee station set up. She's got like sometimes there's a little mint here and there, you know. I mean, just really cute things that she does that make us feel comfortable.
Yeah.
For family dinners, we always joke because when my sister, you're invited for Christmas or the holidays, she used to set table places so you know where to sit. So last time we visited, we went and we were sitting for dinner. My husband's like, I don't know where to go. She didn't label the table. And like she's just standing there confused. But we always like to joke that she always set a formal table when you go for a holiday, which just
Yeah.
makes the holiday special.
Right.
Yeah. I know you also had done some videos for your local television station when you were in Massachusetts, and
Correct.
they had these little design things where you showed like how to decorate your table for a holiday. Do you want to
Mhm.
talk about any of those? That was really fun.
Yeah, that was fun. This local TV station had approached me one time and said, "Would you like to be on our TV program?" And I went, "Okay." So I went through different things in my house to show them examples and give something to talk about and show at the same time. Well, I thought
Mhm.
maybe I'd just do one segment with them, but they liked what I had to say and the way I presented it, so they kept asking me to do more. So
Wonderful.
it was a lot of fun, and I keep those videos, and they come in handy. I could, if someone wants to see table settings, I'll send them one, or if they want to see what I did with a particular room, I'll show them that. So
Right.
it's good.
Right. I know that for your table settings too, like there's options of using either real candles or those little light up ones that
Mhm.
don't burn the house down. Because whenever I see something on TV and they're showing romance and they got all these candles, my husband and I are horrified. We're like, oh my God, they're going to burn the house down. To me, it's not romantic. We get very nervous, you know?
In one of the videos that was done by the TV station, I did one on Christmas. I had done a table. I had a long dining room and a long dining room table, and I did it decorated two ways for Christmas. One was more casual, one was more formal. I had these two Santa candle holders, and the candles were kind of like gold or something. So the candles were lit, and as I'm doing the presentation, I'm watching the candles, and they're flaming and they're dripping.
Uh,
I'm thinking, oh my God, if I don't finish talking soon, this table's going to be on fire.
there you go. Well, they've
Snuff
got
it out.
options now, right? They have options for those candles with the little, like the inside
Yeah.
light,
Oh,
right?
yes. Yes. And,
Yeah.
now that the table is smaller, I don't do any more name tags because the table fits eight, not,
Right.
12 or 14 people. So it's
Right,
different.
right. I
Yeah.
used to love too the mural that you had when you were living in Massachusetts. You had a whole wall and you had a mural of
Mhm.
Carolina or something,
Real
Tara painted
Yes.
on it. That was
Yeah.
just beautiful. Yeah, very
Well,
different.
the dining room had a long blank wall, and I thought, what can I do with this? I said, all right, I'd like a muralist to come in and paint a scene. So I found some pictures of antique homes and a carriage, horse and carriage, and a little woman hanging out the window waving her hanky as her sister was waiting at the door of the house.
That's so
So
you.
I know it is. I had this man create this whole mural. When I went to sell the house, I'm thinking, oh, somebody's going to immediately come in and whitewash that, put beige on the walls, and they'd be done. Well, the people that bought it, the husband happened to say to me, his mother had a mural in her dining room. So he wasn't
Oh,
touching that at all.
oh,
He loved it. And I'm like, oh, thank you, Lord,
oh,
for not touching
oh,
it.
that's so nice. Yeah,
You know?
just knowing your house is loved like that when you leave, right?
Yes,
Wow.
he came in and he said to me first when I first met him, he says, "Just want to say we love your home," and that's nice to
Oh,
hear. You want
that
to
is,
pass it on to someone who's going to appreciate it.
yeah. Oh, that's great. So I know that you want people to love their homes, right? And so, do you think, like, when you walk in a home, people have an emotion when you walk in someone's home? I know you do too, when you have a feeling when you
Mhm,
walk in.
mhm,
I know people's entryways are very important and it sets the tone for the home. So,
mhm.
talk about like entryways and something people can do quickly to make their home inviting when you enter.
Funny you should bring that up. I was just saying to my husband the other day that people may have a front porch that's screened in that you enter first and then you go into the house. And
Good.
oftentimes I
Yeah.
walk through the porch and I'll look over and I'll see they're using it as storage or their bicycle or something. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, a chair, a table, a little plant, a place to read with a lamp. I said, that could be so inviting. And
Yeah.
if you remember years ago, Dad used to walk in because he did construction. He'd walk into my house, he'd be knocking on the wall, see how sturdy it
Yeah.
was. I
Yep.
walk in a house and I'm trying not to redesign it in my head, even though they didn't ask me to do that. I'm like, oh, this can go
Right.
back and go there. And I have to stop, but it's what I see and I know could be different.
I get it. I honestly get it. It's funny. I went through our entryway yesterday, and I got rid of a lot of stuff because my husband tends to want to clutter in there too. I'm like, oh my god, And then the garage stuff winds up by the doorway. I'm like, what's this doing here? It goes in the
There you
doorway. Yeah, it goes outside.
go.
But
Right.
oh my god. All right, so we're coming up on the last like minute of the show, and
Okay.
I want you to mention your website again. So what's your website again?
ClassicDesignNet.com.
Okay, and I want to thank you for being a fabulous guest and wonderful sister. And I
Thank
love
you.
you very much. And thank you
It
so much for spending your time being on my program today.
was wonderful. I enjoyed it.
Kisses. All right, love you, honey.
Take care.
Thank you guys for spending this hour with us. And join at 10 Eastern next week. I have some really interesting guests coming up. And I hope you come back on Lightwalker's Path, 10 a.m. every Tuesday Eastern Time. Thanks. Bye. I'm your host, Rosemary DiTrolio, and you've been watching and listening to The Lightwalker's Path. Learn about my workshops, sessions, courses, and more at info@rosemaryd.com. My website, rosemaryd.com, Hands of Light by Rosemary. Have a blessed and beautiful day.